So Michael Cohen's prison sentence wasn't the only bad news for the president today. As the president was behind closed doors in the White House seething over his former attorney, we learned that the parent company of the National Enquirer, run by Trump's longtime friend David Pecker, admitted to cooperating with members of the campaign to silence Karen McDougal, who claimed to have had an affair with Trump. So let's talk about, this is going to be good. This is Stu Zakim. He is a former senior vice president of corporate communications at AMI, which owns the Enquirer. Good evening.
Evening, Don.
What do they have?
They must have lots of stuff, because otherwise Pecker wouldn't have made the deal that he made today.
You worked there. Do you remember that whole thing about all of this information that they had on Trump, right?
Sure.
And that all the files had disappeared. You think those files are somewhere and they have them?
I would imagine that they're somewhere where if David needs to get access to them, they're available to him. I don't think they disappeared totally.
Okay, why not?
Because it's about protection. And when you have information, you have power. And this is what this is all about. Who's got the power?
Mm-hmm.
Trump or Pecker? In this case, I would imagine it's Pecker.
Should he be worried, meaning Trump?
Yes, I believe he should be, for a lot of reasons. First, so these guys were friends for a long time. So you have a long-term personal relationship with stories I'm sure they have told each other that haven't gotten anywhere else. And then you take it to the Enquirer level, where there's reporters out there who are constantly searching for hot stories. They pay for their stories. So you have people phoning in tips. So between what's out there and what they have hidden, I would imagine there's a lot of stuff the president needs to be concerned about.
And so he has every reason to be seething tonight, as they say.
Well, look at things. Why would the deal be cut with Pecker if they didn't have a lot of information that would help their cause against Trump? It's not just because Pecker alludes to it. He must have some kind of substance that they found, that he testified to.
Stu, back in August, didn't you say that you never thought David Pecker would turn on Donald Trump?
But at the same time, David Pecker is a survivor. And when his best interests are threatened by something else, he takes care of himself. The reason the guy has lasted all these years, he's got an amazing radar for when things go south. And he must have sensed this was going to happen and knew it's in his own best interest, because that is really, at the end of the day, what David Pecker cares about is David Pecker.
Cut from the same cloth.
They are identical. If you were to look at the two of them together, from body language, how they manage their staffs, and how they make up things as they go along, they really are the same person.
Tell me about their relationship.
Well, it goes back to when magazines were really popular, running the world in the 80s and the 90s. And Pecker was at another company called Hachette, and they were very popular. And they had a big title that I'm sure got Trump's attention, which was called George. It was launched for JFK Jr. And Trump is, kind of a smart guy about how to market himself.
Gosh, I remember George. I remember when it launched. Yeah,
it was a big deal.
Right.
And Cindy Crawford was on the first cover.
Right.
It was pretty big. And here's a publishing company, a publishing icon, making a political magazine. So if I'm Donald Trump and thinking, I want someone who's going to take care of me as my career goes whichever way it's going to go. I'm not saying he thought about being president way back then, but the guy loves publicity.
Right.
And what better way to control your publicity than being friends with a magazine owner?
Right.
And on Pecker's side of it, you get access. And you're with someone who's in the columns all the time. As you're building your business, it's a mutual beneficial relationship.
So having had this experience with him, working at this media company, right? He loves the media. He tries to say it's fake, but there's no bigger love affair than Donald Trump and the media. He loves
Absolutely not. I mean, the guy lives for being in the press. Always has, way before he was president.
Yeah.
I mean, he courted it. He was in the Post all the time, always in Page 6. This is what he lives for.
Yeah. So do you think that Pecker and Michael Cohen would be coordinating on something this sensitive, right? Maybe they didn't understand the ramifications of it. But do you think they'd be, leading up to 2016, do you think they'd be coordinating something this sensitive without Donald Trump knowing?
No way. I mean, and we see from the tapes, Trump definitely knew what was going on, and as we see with what happened today, giving guidance and direction on how to make it work out.
Yeah. So we
have fact with that,
So we talked about the safe, right, that contained all these damaging stories. When you worked there, did you know about the safe? Was there a safe?
No, I never heard about the safe.
You never heard about the safe. Do you doubt that it exists?
I don't doubt it exists, because David Pecker knows how to protect himself. And whether it was a physical safe or an allegory of a safe, definitely there are stuff there that they have that keeps him safe.
Okay, Stu, so tell me about this catch and kill tactic.
Yeah.
How prevalent was it? How did it work?
It was pretty prevalent, not only when it connected to Trump. David Pecker has a lot of celebrity friends who are usually in situations where the Enquirer might be doing a story about it. When you own a media company, you do have the luxury of taking care of what's put out, what is published. And if you're a friend of his and there's something in there that might embarrass you, he's going to make sure that they buy it and kill it. And when they take it off what they do when they buy it, takes it off the market. So no other publication can get access to that story. So it's really taking it and see you later.
But something mutually beneficial had to be part of their relationship. Okay, so Trump gets something because he's friends with someone who owns a media company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what does David Pecker get out of it?
Oh, favors, number one. You get access. And once again, any media guy needs access to power players.
Right.
So one hand washes the other.
This tape between Cohen and Trump, I played it a moment ago, but I want to play it for you and I, because I want to know what you think about it. Let's play that.
I need to open up a company for the transfer of all of that info regarding our friend David, so that I'm going to do that right away. I've actually come up and spoken to Alan Weisselberg about how to set the whole thing up with funding. Yes, and it's all the stuff, because you never know where that company, you never know where he's going to be.
Gets hit by a car.
Correct. So I'm all over that.
So you're laughing. Why? You were listening intently, then you laughed. Why? What's going on?
What if he gets hit by a car? I mean, that's what Trump was worried about. Where's that information going to go? Who's going to know where it's going to be kept?
Is this how business is done? Everybody records everybody?
Perhaps in the world they live in, not the world I live in, perhaps with those guys, yeah.
So as you're sitting at home watching all of this, you're like, yeah, okay, that's all. And everybody's wondering, like, if this is real, and he's saying it's not true. And you're sitting at home saying what? And you know what? There are many people like you who are sitting at home, and it's frustrating, I'm sure, because there are people out there who won't believe you.
You can't imagine this being scripted. Look at the elements here. You got Trump with his personality, you got Pecker and his personality, and then the Inquirer with what it means. It has a salacious approach to things. So it's kind of a perfect storm of what everyone wants to hear. The insatiable appetite for this kind of stuff.
Yeah. He should be worried.
He should be worried. And we'll find out more.
Thank you, Stu.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Court documents revealing today another person from the Trump campaign met with David Pecker and knew about the hush money payments. Who else knew about the efforts to silence damaging stories about then candidate Trump? So who could it be?